Hello, everyone. My name is Joong-ho from Line Plus. I would like to ask a question first of all. Do you know of Line? Or are you using Line? Oh, that's wonderful. Unfortunately, when we had similar opportunities like this one in elsewhere in Asia and in Europe, we had a lot of opportunities, but somehow this is the first time we are introducing our business and our products and services to the Korean audience. So it's a great pleasure and a great honor for me to have this opportunity. Thank you so much. What I'll be talking to you today is, in the era of ECOllaboration, what role can a smart messenger system such as the one that we have in our company, what role can it play? First of all, I think we need to go a little bit back into history and see what kind of changes have taken place until now. Many people talk about paradigm shifts and revolutionary changes and so forth. Usually, those phrases are used when a device or a machine that never existed before, all of a sudden, the majority of people make use of that. That's when there's a paradigm shift. The smartphone revolution or the smartphone paradigm is such an example. But some of the major characteristics is that compared to the phone or PCs, compared to those types of paradigm shifts, it began very rapidly. Just look around you. 3 years ago, I don't think there were many people who were using smartphones, but these days, if you don't use a smartphone, you're kind of like an outsider. That's how fast this change took place. The second characteristic that you can think about is that compared to any other device, a global transition has taken place at that fast pace. Another major characteristic is that it's very standardized, the types of services and the products that you can use. The most representative case, for example, regarding this forum, if we create an SDF application, it can be used by anyone around the world. If we have a good service that we can introduce, then the global market is open to you without going through the barriers that you used to go through in the past. 2 years, 3 years, given that short period of time, a rapid shift is occurring. In other words, the incumbents, before they actually went into the market, small firms like us, we were really nobodies in the past. If we take on that challenge, there is an opportunity for us to succeed. Let me introduce you to our product and service line. Naver Japan opened the service first, less than 2 years ago. There are two things that we are very proud of. The first one is that many countries around the world are utilizing this service. The second thing is that until now, Facebook, Twitter, or any types of SNS services, compared to them, Line's growth was faster than anyone else. It took us 19 months to achieve 100 million users. No other SNS service in the world has recorded such a rapid rate. Another surprising fact is that early this year, when we achieved that record of 100 million users, we were thinking maybe we've reached the end of the rapid growth. But no, only about 3 months later, we already have about 50 million more users. So every day, about 500,000 new users are using this service. And we have recorded #1 in 44 nations around the world, most recently in China. At that time, about 1 million users came in on a single day. With this kind of growth rate, I believe by the end of the year, we'll be able to surpass 300 million users. And in that case, we will grow into a state where we can really think about additional expanded scopes of services as well. Looking at this world map, the countries that are highlighted in green are regions and countries where the majority of users can be found. For example, Japan. This is the dark green color here. And also Taiwan and Thailand. And all the way over in Spain, in Europe, over 12 million LINE users can be found. Every morning at our company, we look at this map and we work even harder every single day because of that. And the update here, we can see that more and more the transition is going towards the darker green. The growing markets in the medium green color, it's countries that are going in that direction of growth. Within this month, we believe that Indonesia will become the darker green nation. Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, and other Southeast Asian countries are experiencing rapid growth, as well as in Korea. We hope to be able to achieve 10 million users and above by the end of this month. One of the things that surprised us is that there weren't many of us who had actually visited the Latin American continent, but all of a sudden, we saw that Latin American users were expanding and growing much more than we had ever expected. So I think there are many countries in Latin America of growth potential, as well as in Europe and US and China. So we are looking for ways to foster this growth even further. Now, there is a pitfall. We have to be able to understand the users and what they want. But for countries that we've never been to, how can we fully understand what the users' requirements are? That's one of the challenges that lie ahead for us. So early this year, when we surpassed the 100 million users, what we did was we sent out many of our employees to countries all around the world. And our employees would go out and talk to people, do you use LINE? And then people say, what's LINE? And let's take a look at the video, which shows what happened.
I use it on my phone, tablet, and PC. So wherever I am, my friends can reach me.
그룹으로 대화할 때도 많이 쓰고요.
バイバイするときとかにまた後で LINE するねみたいな
Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Sometimes I have conversations with just the stickers.
ส่งมาทีเดียวรูปหนึ่งอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแล้วก็จะนึกถึงหน้าเพื่อนขึ้นมาแล้วเพราะว่า LINE เนี่ยจะมีสติกเกอร์เยอะใช่ไหมคะแล้วแบบ
LINE'ın sticker özellikleri ise metinle ifade edemediğim çoğu şeyi
LINE しかやらない。ね、みんなやってる。Más rápido que mi email. Más creativo que el texto y más barato que llamar. ¿Cómo no me va a gustar?
자, 저희 서비스를 봤는데요.
So there's one characteristic that you can find about LINE users. They're very handsome and beautiful people. So I'm sure that everyone here today are LINE users. So, as I mentioned earlier, LINE service was being used by many people around the world, much more than what we had expected. Now, going on to the subject of collaboration or ECOllaboration. Well, let's take the example of Japan. When many people in Japan say goodbye to their friends, they don't say, okay, call me. They'll say, okay, send me a line. If you have a Japanese friend, I'm sure that you will see that it is impossible to have full communication without using LINE. And we've already put in an automatic translation service. So if you type in Japanese, then it can be translated into Korean and vice versa. And one more thing that we're very proud of. I mean, I am married, but also married couples, as time goes by, they don't really communicate well with their spouses. We did a survey on 800 married users, and 60% of them have mentioned that after they started using LINE, they have at least 2 communication with spouses. things that you can't really say in your words. Instead of saying the 3 words "I love you," they can actually send a sticker with a image or a picture that says that message. Another example is smartphones are communication tools between people, but if everybody uses it, if all constituents and if all members of society use it, it can provide even more benefits. For example, in Thailand, once again, there's a very handsome user. We read about this in the newspaper, and we were quite surprised. This was a very high-level official of the police department in Thailand, and they adopted a line network of police officers for their official use. We were amazed. Thank you so much. And it was introduced on TV as well. We were very surprised. The police officers, if they have a suspect, I'm sorry to point at you, and they will take a picture, and then we have a PC version of the line network, and then it's sent to the headquarters where they will go through a check and see if he's a known criminal with a felony or not. And if not, they will give a sticker. So in Thailand, if you ever do have the opportunity to go to Thailand, you'll be able to see that public officials are making use of the line service in their day-to-day operations. Another thing that we are very proud of, and this once again surprised us, and we felt a strong sense of responsibility after we heard the news. In Taiwan, there are about 50 million users. Compared to the total population of Taiwan, it's like everyone who has a smartphone is using this. And actually, we received a proposal from the fire department of Taiwan. We should have been able to make that proposal, but actually they were the ones who came to us and said, if there are deaf and mute users and they cannot, for example, call 911 for emergency support or services, they can at least use the line network to say, this is where I am and we have a fire or we have an emergency situation. So that kind of suggestion was given to us by Kinmen Fire Department, and it is in use right now. These are areas that we were not able to think of, but the users thought of. So we want to try to find other ways of supporting the requirements and the needs of the community users. So we've looked at the individual users and public offices that are using this. But now let's take a look at other types of usages, especially for cooperation and collaboration. I personally believe that cooperation means that 1 + 1 is not 2, but more than 2. If 1 + 1 becomes 3, 10, 100, then we need to have a synergy effect, and that's what we want to gain by collaboration and cooperation, by making use of the network of your friends and information and distribution channels. Any good contents and good information that you had that you were not able to deliver or market, we want to provide help for that. The next thing that we want to contribute to is international cooperation. There are many contents all over the world, but why does it have to be only distributed domestically? There are many celebrities from many countries around Asia, and one of the things that we can do is by making use of the line messenger service, it can be provided to that. Those types of contents can be provided to many other countries around the world. We also are looking into creating synergy effects between industries. For example, kids-related services. We are opening this already in Japan, and we are preparing to open this in other countries around the world. There are many kids' services or children's services, but why do people think it's only games on smartphones? There are many educational contents that can be delivered on the same device and platform. This is what we want to seek as a possible collaboration area. Games could be a part of that, but not all, and other types of contents. One of the major examples would be, I think, comics. We start this from Japan. We're looking into Taiwan, Thailand, and other areas and countries. In Japan, for those of you who like comic books, especially Japanese manga, I think you probably know all of the major publishers, and the 50 or so major publishers are cooperating with us to distribute these contents. Let's say I'm a cartoonist in Thailand, but I have no audience in Korea, Japan, or the US because I'm working in Thailand. In that case, I believe that this can be a good area where LINE can be utilized. For other corporate sectors, we have a lot of partnerships going on. In the case of one airline in Thailand, they made these types of stickers and they gave it to us. And what we do is, to the LINE users, we can send them out, and companies and using these stickers, we have this partnership going on, and we see that voluntarily downloading these corporate stickers, there's a high level of download numbers, and saying that this airplane is very cute, should we go on a trip together? Those types of stickers can be used in the communication and the messages that users make use of. So I believe that communication-based collaboration can be a very good example to look towards for future implementation. One of the things that we want to do in the future is, we call this O2O platform. There are people who have businesses offline, people who are out in the forefront of daily business activities. By making use of the LINE platform, they should be able to get some good opportunities. So from that perspective, we are providing LINE at. Those companies who cannot really afford corporate accounts can use LINE at. There are currently about 100,000 stores every year that are using LINE at. These are small and medium-sized companies that are doing this. If, let's say, a product that is made by a small company in Korea, if that can be sold in other Asian markets, or let's say a company in Thailand wants to globally distribute their products, well, that's what LINE should be used for and can be used for. Cooperation or collaboration, people tend to believe that that's just an ideal concept. But as I mentioned earlier, for us, collaboration means 1 + 1 is 3 or above. And long-term collaboration will require long-term economic benefits and results. What you see here is actually the report from the Annie Index. In the non-game area, among all global applications, the highest number of downloads was LINE. Google, Android, all areas, LINE was number 1. And our parent company, NHN, recorded the highest amount of revenue in the Android market globally. But this was not done just by our own achievements. It is because collaboration occurred on our platform. And that brought about true economic results. So I have until now discussed with you about how LINE is being used as a communication platform between people and companies, communities and public offices, and other types of organizations and institutions. The second area, I talked about content creators, industries, and even small companies, how contents can be shared together and exchanged for business results. The last part was the international So between nations, international cooperation and collaboration. So this would be my hope for the future world map that I want to see in the morning. Thank you.